Shania Watson, and I'd like to welcome you to A Taste of Blue Hills. Before we begin, I want to let you know a little about our school. Blue Hills Regional Technical School is a public high school located in Canton, Massachusetts with over 800 students who live in the 9 surrounding towns. In addition to a high school diploma, students graduate with a trade license or certificate and are well prepared for immediate employment. There are 17 different programs a student can choose at Blue Hills, and this show is a joint effort between both the culinary arts and the design and visual communications programs. Students get to learn both in front of the camera and behind the scenes. In this series of programs, we are introducing students like me to careers in video and television production in the culinary industry. We hope you enjoy it. In this episode of A Taste of Blue Hills, we are going to show you some tips, techniques, and interesting info that we have learned over our last 4 years. Our first segment is brought to us by Lainey and Evelise, who love working with fondant and are going to show you how easy it can be to make beautiful and fun additions to almost anything.
Hi, my name is Evelise.
And I'm Lainey.
And today we're making fondant. Fondant is a thick paste made with melted marshmallow, powdered sugar, vanilla, and a little bit of water. You can buy it prepackaged or you can make it homemade. Behind me we have the recipes and photos of the steps of the homemade fondant.
You can make many different shapes, objects, and designs from fondant. You can use it to make flowers, mini sculptures, and so much more.
We already made our fondant, but make sure before using your fondant you want to dust your surface with powdered sugar, fondant or cornstarch, because fondant can be very sticky. I will be showing you how to color the fondant properly. First, cut your desired portion of fondant. Now you just want to keep on molding it and then make it into a little ball. So, when you are dyeing the fondant, you want to make sure you wear gloves because food coloring can and will dye your hands. And you also want to wear gloves because fondant is a ready-to-eat food, which means it's not going to be cooked or heated at this point, and you want to keep it free from any contamination and that people won't get sick. Next, you want to make an imprint with your finger in the fondant. And then you want to put the food coloring. I usually start off with 3 drops. You can start with how many you want. Then you're just going to pinch it together. And then you just want to roll it over and over again until the food coloring and the fondant is mixed together. After the fondant is mixed together, it should look something like this. And you can add 2 different colors to make a marble effect, or just anything you like. It's your desire. It's also a moldable ingredient that you can just mold into anything you want, right, Lainey?
That's right. You can use the fondant for almost any aspect of the cake. You can use it for flowers, gems and jewels, sculpting people, and so many more. Today I'll be showing you how to make a simple fondant rose. You want to start by getting a piece of fondant and rolling it into a cone shape. The bottom of the cone will be the base of your flower, and the tip of it should be the rosebud. Next, you want to make a small ball of fondant, and you want to gently press with your thumb to make a teardrop shape. This will become your petals for the flower. Next, you want to take your petal and wrap it around the bud. You want to keep wrapping and overlapping the petals and flowers, and this will start to make your rose shape.
So, how big can you make the flower?
Well, the flower can vary in any size and shape you want it. You can make it as small as the size of a pea, or you can make it as big as a whole cake.
So what kind of designs can you do with fondant?
You can marble the fondant with 2 different types of colored fondant. or you can make any different color, shade, depends on how you want to make, depending on how you want to make it. So after overlapping all your flowers until you are happy with how your flower looks, you can bend the edges and make indents and imperfections in the flowers, because no flower is perfect. And that is how you make your fondant rings. When you're using fondant, it cracks and gets dry really easy. You want to use a little bit of shortening on your fingertips to keep it from preventing to dry out. And when you're using a cake, it can crack, and you want to use a fresh piece of fondant or icing to cover it up.
So Haley, can't you just use water to smooth it out?
Actually, no. Water will make your fondant so soft to the point it'll actually melt. So when you are storing your fondant, you want to make sure it's sealed tight up in a room temperature location. You can actually store it up for 2 months. But if you are going to put your fondant in the refrigerator, make sure it's tight sealed, because you don't want the moisture to make it soft.
Oh, that's interesting. I got something to show you.
What is it?
It's a quilting kit.
What's a quilting kit?
It has many tools for you can do your fondant with. It has this balling tool and a leaf indentinator and also a smoothing pad. So Lainey, what do you use a smoothing pad for?
Well, I usually use a smoothing pad to make sure my fondant's even and has no lumps in it on cakes. But you can also use it to just make sure everything's completely smooth and is all set and ready to go.
So you can also just use your hands when you're making fondant, because some people here don't have access to fancy tools. So you can actually achieve anything with this. So I would just say have fun with it and go with the flow.
That's awesome. So that's all we got for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something today, and I hope you can use fondant at home and have so much fun with it.
Our next segment features Kira, who is going to share some important tips and techniques everyone should know to make things easier and more efficient in your kitchen. Enjoy!
Hi, my name is Kira Federici, and I'm a senior in the Blue Hills Culinary program. I will be attending the Culinary in America in New York starting in the fall. Today I will be showing you a few different tips and tricks that I've learned over the last 4 years. I hope you find them as useful as I have. First, I'm going to show you a few different tips and tricks that you should use every time you cook. Let's start with the proper way to use your cutting board. So when your cutting board is just sitting on the table, it likes to slide around a lot. And that's kind of dangerous, because you can cut not just the food, you can cut your fingers. So what you're going to want to do is you want to take a damp towel. It can be a cloth or a paper towel, and just put your cutting board right on top. And you can see it's a lot harder to move. So my next trick I'm going to show you is how to mince garlic. So first what you want to do is you want to cut off the little brown bit on the bottom. And you can just get rid of that, we're not going to use it. Next thing you want to do is you want to place your knife on top of the garlic, take your hand, and slam down. That breaks up the fibers in the garlic to make it easier to mince. The next what you want to do is you're going to take your knife, put your whatever hand you're not using to cut on the tip, just to keep it in place. And I like to have my hand choked up on the blade a little bit for more control. And all you're going to do is just rock your knife back and forth. I like to bring garlic towards the center of every few cuts, because you don't want a giant piece of garlic just sitting off to the side, not getting hit. So just going to do this a few times. Make sure you clean off your knife, because the garlic likes to stick. And you're just going to keep doing that until you get your desired size. When you're all done with that, I'm just going to put it over to the side. My next tip is how to cut an onion without crying as much. So what you're going to want to do is you want to get some water and some paper towels. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to wet your paper towels, squeeze off any excess water so your cutting board's not soaked. Just leave a pile right next to where you're going to cut your onion. Easy way to peel your onion, you're just going to cut off the bottom, cut your onion in half, and then just peel off the skin. purpose of the paper towels is so the onion enzymes are attracted to your eyes because that's the closest source of water. So since you have paper towels right next to you, that's the closest source of water. So the onion enzymes will be more attracted to the paper towels, so it won't make you cry as much because less onion enzymes will be attracted to your eyes. Okay. Okay, put our onions off to the side. Finally, I have a few tips on how to organize your fridge. As you probably know, one of the most important things we learn in culinary arts is how to prepare your food and store it safely. After all, no one wants to get anybody sick, especially a teacher. That's definitely not the right way to get a good grade. So, understanding and how to organize food and being stored in the fridge is very important and to make sure everyone stays safe. So on your top shelf, you're going to want all your ready-to-eat foods like your deli meat, your cheese, any produce, or anything that doesn't need cooked again. On your second shelf, you want your fish and your whole cuts of beef and pork, because that has one of the lowest internal temperatures of 145 degrees. On your third shelf, you're going to want your ground beef and your pork, because that has to be cooked a little bit higher to 155 degrees. And on your last shelf, you're going to want your ground and your whole poultry, like your chicken and your turkey, because that needs to be cooked to 165 degrees before it's safe to eat. So, if you think about it, if I store my chicken above my fish, and if my chicken drips onto my fish, and I cook my fish, and it's going to be at 145 degrees when it comes out of the oven, then you go put it on my plate. I'm still going to have that chicken that was only cooked to, my chicken drips that were only cooked to 145 degrees, so, which makes it unsafe to eat. But if I have my fish above my chicken, and the fish drips onto the chicken, then I'm going to cook my chicken still to 165 degrees, and my fish that dripped on will be fine because it only needs to be cooked to 145. So when you think about it, it makes a little sense. And you think the highest cooking temperature would be on the bottom, and your lowest cooking temperature would be towards the top. Now, obviously not everybody has 4 to 5 shelves on their refrigerator, but knowing why it's important to be careful will help you to avoid any issues when you store your food. I hope you enjoyed these tips and tricks and find them as useful as I have in your kitchen. Thanks for watching.
Next, Nyla is going to teach you how to make the best mashed potatoes.
Hey guys, my name is Nyla Homicina. Today I'm going to show you how to make my version of perfect mashed potatoes with this potato here, which is an Idaho potato. I cut mine into different sizes. I add my own ingredient, and there's 2 different types of potatoes you can use. There are waxy and there are starchy. Starchy is good for like mashing because they crumble more, and waxy is good for like potato salad because they hold more. Yukon potatoes are a bit waxy and starchy, and Idaho potatoes aren't really waxy. They are like low moisture. Today I'm going to show you how to work with Idaho potatoes, and which is the best one to use. First, you want to wash and peel, which I have already. Number 2, you want to cut this into medium-sized chunks, just like so. Usually you want to cut them in half, about this size, this is medium. And then you want to boil them for 15 minutes, which I did so. You want to make sure that the fork is easy to go in and out, but like that basically. Today I'm going to be using a ricer. You can use anything to mash your potatoes, but today I'm going to use this. So basically what you're going to do today is you're going to mash them. I add just a few at a time. A ricer is kind of perfect to mash with because they give you a right size and there's not really a lot of chunks in it anymore. Want to make sure you get all of the excess potato. And remember to wash your hands after the mashing. So now, since they're mashed, you want to add your seasoning. But before that, you want to make sure that you're pre-melting your butter and you're gonna add your milk when it's warm. I just wanna add just a little bit of salt, up to you how much you like. I like to add some pepper. And what I feel like makes my mashed potatoes perfect is garlic seasoning. Maybe just a little more butter. I mean butter, salt. Alrighty. Now you just want to mix it in. As you can see, it's giving that good crumbly look. And as you also see that they're kind of getting combined together. Check on the butter. Just a medium low heat. Now, you'll add a little bit of butter. This was about 8 tablespoons about. Now you just want to add a little bit of milk. Not too much. This is about 1 cup, but I don't like to use much. And when you do this, you can see that it's getting easy to mix. And you don't want your milk to boil. Just want it a little bit warm. Actually, look, I added a little too much milk. Just gonna all add it. As you can see, it's getting creamy. It smells really good. Alrighty. Now, for your last step, I like to add cheese. You can use any type of cheese you like. I'm just going to use cheddar today. You can add as much cheese as you like. I like mine really cheesy. Usually the cheese would melt into it, but it's not so hot. Now that the cheese is all in it together, you can stir it till you like it. And now that you cleaned up your area, you can get everything to do your plating. And this is how you finish up the perfect Idaho potato.
hope you found some tips and tricks to make your cooking experience a little bit easier. To rewatch this or any other shows, find us on Facebook or YouTube under the Blue Hills Culinary BBC. You can also follow our Facebook page for more information on the happenings of Blue Hills. Thanks again, and
Stay safe.